So, maybe some of you saw this floating around already, but in case you haven't, allow me to give you an update. Whether you've seen it on Sci-Fi Wire or Gormaru Island, there was an interview conducted with Akito Takahashi at Comic-Con recently. He's the guy from Toho who is essentially in charge of their Godzilla department. And he had some interesting things to say. Quite a bit, actually, more than I'm going to cover in just this video, so I'll provide links to everything so you can see it all for yourselves. But here's the interesting part. According to Takahashi-san, the Toho executives are very pleased with the MonsterVerse and Legendary's efforts in making Godzilla movies. And as he put it, even though Toho is still moving forward with their own movies, he said that he likes, and the producers like, that there are these two sides to Godzilla, an American one and a Japanese one, and they are all interested in seeing them grow and evolve together. Now, once again, taking into account that we're working with a translation here, the wording is just diplomatically vague enough that it's difficult to say exactly what he means by that. But it sure seems as though he's saying Godzilla's time in America, and in the MonsterVerse in particular, isn't necessarily over after Godzilla vs. Kong. It's difficult to say that for certain. Like I said, it's diplomatically vague, as I would put it. But there's a lot of talk in the interview about keeping those movies going forward, and Toho trying to expand its presence internationally, especially in America. So, it's interesting to consider. Having read over it several times by now, it sure does seem like what he's saying is that Toho's going to move forward with its own movies, but they're going to keep the American side of things going forward as well. That seems to be what he's saying. It might be wrong. It could be that, like I said, because of how he phrased it, that could suddenly change, and depending on what happens in March, all of it could suddenly be rescinded. I don't know. A lot of people are jumping on the idea that this is definitely confirming the MonsterVerse after 2020, and especially Godzilla's role within it. And it's interesting that, speaking as someone who has constantly said that we don't know for certain that 2020 really does mark the end, that I find myself presented with evidence and being hesitant to jump on it. I guess I'm just being cautious, because I don't necessarily want to hitch my wagon to something that could be heading towards a cliff. But it is hard to shake the feeling that this is what's being said. I'm sure we'll find out more as things move forward, but if nothing else, the takeaway is that Toho is far from done with Godzilla, either domestically or internationally, and there's a lot more of it to come in the future, regardless of what form it takes. So here's hoping it's all good. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, as well as subscribe to the channel for more content of a similar nature. Also, check the description for links to our Twitter, DeviantArt, and Patreon pages, as well as the Amazon link for the novel Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, penned by yours truly. Thank you all, and we appreciate your support.